Flying Arrow, Short Stories Book 2, The Story of Five Senses, Story 2, written by Naseem Achakzai. It is a matter of strong focus and attention to perceive things. It is to understand things from the very root things born. It is to see them what their shapes and figures really are, with grown and gifted details. It is to hear things, to hear to the sound things produce, either from their bodies or mouths, with their lower and upper, minor or major notes. It is to smell things, if they have the quality of possessing smelling substances that journey on the shoulder of invisible air. It is to touch them with a physical contact. It is to confirm the substance of their existence, to perceive their bodily shapes, where sense of touch is combined by all given senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, and touching. It is to taste things, again, with all senses, from seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, and even tasting a substance with lips, tongue, and mouth, through chewing, eating, and drinking. Touch and taste in these five senses cover a huge area of mechanism of understanding, communication, contact, and knowledge, which use the function of seeing, hearing, and smelling either. Every story of the world contains its proper space and time. Space here means a ground. No story can ever be told, written, without a specific foundation of ground. Ground is the stage a story performs itself on. This ground also contains the quality of time either, because time itself cannot be measured nor be born without a specific ground and its solidity. This time, the ground of this undergoing story was an asleep human body, and the characters on the surface of this asleep body were the eye, ear, nose, and the tongue. These characters would have their own gathering when the human would fall asleep. Did you see? Did you see it? Hey, you, my dear fellows, look at it. It has got a strange shape. Look at it, please, said the eye, screaming, but the ear, nose, hand, and the tongue remained indifferent for a while. They were all habitual of eye's disturbed self. It would contact everything. It had always been in troubles of its own connections. The eye was disturbing them and was trying to keep them away from rest. Rest was also an important part of life. Hey, you foolish eye, why do you bother us in these hours of night? Leave us to have rest. I've been listening to the noise of cars, rickshaws, people, animals. Even the whole day I was externally disturbed of hearing the noise of water, because the body we are living on works in a service station. Let's have a rest, please. Why do you upset us? Answered the ear. Well, it was terrible. I wish you would see it. I am the organ sight. People see with their eyes. He or she opens or closes his or her eyes. I present justice, said the eye again. Someone turns blind in one or two eyes too, interrupted the tongue scornfully. A punishment as severe as the injury suffered can be justified through me by an eye for an eye, said the eye, explaining about its own qualities. You are the symbol of retaliation either, said the tongue. I move and show left, right, and front to human beings and animals. I also show the condition of an observant and dull with half an eye. Even human law sees through me. Using me in the eye of the law, I present judgment in the eye of somebody. I demonstrate a human character in his judgment in the eye of somebody. I demonstrate a human character in his or her eyes. I produce the quality of presence under or before one's very eyes with no attempt at concealment. A human being shows to be deeply engaged when someone becomes up to the eye in people and continues hoping for a bright future when he looks with one eye to the world. A present human view. People watch intently when they became all me, me, me. Wow, how beautiful it sounds to be me. To close one's eyes, to refuse, and to get one's eyes enables someone to be competent through practice, said the eye. What do you think about a black eye showing a blow? Interrupted the tongue again. I have positive and humorous qualities too. Making eyes at someone shows humorously actions. Someone becomes careful. He or she minds his or her eye. An eye-opener circumstance brings enlightenment and surprise, said the eye. You have forgotten that an eye so represents ugly objects and symbolizes something unpleasing to look at. The tongue put another negative quality of the eye. Come on, I'm part of the noun as well as verb. I'm an active object as well as an action, concluded the eye. Don't make me fool. I have already been fighting foolishness I cannot understand until I perceive its sound. You saw, you believed. You can see to believe. I believe when I hear. Life exists when you see. Life continues living for me when I hear. I did not hear anything. What should I believe if I haven't heard it? I haven't heard anything yet. I'll let you know and confirm it when I hear it, answered the eye. To tell the truth, this existing force called the eye dreams in an open condition and position even in daytime. It has to dream because it is now in a closed position and it is night. I could neither touch nor taste anything yet, said the tongue. Shut up, you dirty tongue. What do you understand? You are a beggar. You always wait to receive objects like a beggar. You beg things and objects. I am talking to the ear, not to you, answered the eye. I have got my own qualities, my dear. I am a sense by which flavor is known. I feel bitter, spicy, sweet, and sour to the taste. I detect and record the detail of qualities of substances. For example, by putting something on the tongue means to test and taste it. Sugar has a sweet taste. Many people do not like the taste of different mixtures. Many or different kinds of medicines have no or very little, not much, or a queer taste, said the tongue. Why don't you show your negative side when you tell to the human mind about a feeling of dislike or disgust, when something bad leaves a bad taste on the mouth? Even this kind of feeling can be used for bad music too, said the eye, condemning the qualities of the tongue. Come on, my dear. Many people have different kinds of taste in food and drink. They had to develop taste, which tell how different people like different things. Like an abstract art is not to his or her taste or not to the taste of everyone. Many people do not have ability to enjoy beauty, especially in art and literature. They do not have ability to form a judgment about art, literature, and music. They do not have ability to choose and use the best kind of behavior because this is also a matter of taste. If you all remember that yesterday's lady in red had excellent taste in dress. She dresses in perfect taste. Good and bad taste can be found in different characters. Many things are pleasing or displeasing to people of different taste. Even you, all senses have its own taste. Even that is of a bad taste to refuse someone's invitation. People get my function when they taste something strange in soup or tea, drinks or food, said the tongue. If people have fever or bad cold, they close your function and mechanism. They cannot taste through you. When a lot of garlic or spice is put, people taste too much of garlic or spice through you. People feel vomiting just because of you. You are one of the sources of the vomiting, said the eye in a serious tone and mood. My dear neighbor, you have to weigh and value my good abilities. I am the equipment to test the taste of many things in this world. Many people touch and use me. You, the eye, even you use my abilities as one of the grounds of your choices. Many touch me with his or her finger dipped in a cooked food or soup to see whether he or she had put enough salt in it. I am part of an experience of bodies, objects, and senses. I know, I show, I present, I produce, I detect, I record, I preserve. Many times I also show the qualities of happiness, the joys of freedom as taste. This is why it is said that the valiant tastes if death but once, said the tongue, explaining about its own qualities. It was peaceful hours of night. All animals and particularly humans were sleeping. Night was created on the surface of the earth for human beings to rest, even though there were few insects and animals who would perform their duties in the night time. But humans were all asleep. They were all having rest. Over here, on the very body of Achakzai, these few signs of human and animal senses like eye, ear, nose, tongue, and hand would become alive. They would act. They would all enjoy their discussion. But this very night, the eye had seen a strange kind of shadow. The eye had seen a kind of lightning before that shadow had appeared. Appearance was real. The appearance of that shadow was eye's subject of reality. Reality shows itself openly. The eye could always see whatever the signs and shapes were appearing in the body of matters. In this strange night, the eye had seen an unknown body, that the matter of its body was appeared with a strange material, which could be called shadow. The eye had not ever come across this kind of appearance. It was strange for the eye. On the other hand, the ears could not understand what the eye had observed. It was clear that the ear could always understand only that which was audible. They all, the eye, ear, nose, hand, and the tongue became restless because something terrible was going to happen that the eye had witnessed, and that invisible force was yet far away from the mechanism of their receiving system. Hey, my dear nose, why are you silent? Do you understand or perceive what one of our friends, the eye, has seen? Said the ear, addressing the nose. A human mind and its body refuse to help when he or she turns as a deaf ear. Many people feel overwhelming by work when someone feels up to his or her ears in work, said the hand. A knife is identified when he or she shows being wet behind the ears. I am an organ of hearing. I am fixed on both left and right sides of the head. Someone turns to be all ears. Either he or she hears eagerly just because of me, said the ear. When someone feels his or her ears burning, that gives an idea of imagining that he or she is being talked about, criticized the hand. In the same stroke of even, people make many sacrifices and pay a lot of prices when someone gives his or her ears. They give me as a value, said the ear. There seems making no impression when someone goes in at ear and out at the other, inserted the hand. You have to value my good qualities, my dear. Even human and cosmic as well as natural atmosphere secret is part of me. The people and even the animals become alert for what may be happening in secret when someone has an ear to the ground. A confidence can be developed when a word in somebody's ear have been put. May I have word in your ear? A favorable attention can be gained when a person has or wins somebody's ears, said the ear. Somebody can also be identified in deeply debt or an other kind of problems becomes involved over head and ears, said the hand. You have to appreciate that he or she looks expectant when he or she pricks up his or her ears, replied the ear. People quarrel when they are set by the ear. You contain the quality of pain as an ear ache, said the hand, trying to condemn ear's qualities. An earring with a hanging ornament is called an ear drop. Just because of me. It means I'm part of beauty. I got a drum which vibrates like a tabla musical instrument when sound waves strike me. I represent the flavor of human language in different idiomatic shades and expressions. My each expression and confirmation contains its own meaning, said the air. My dear, I have got my own field of forces. I am part of the face and always stay above the human face, which passes breath and serving as the organ of smell, said the nose. People hit one another on the nose off. That gives the meaning of answering sharply and angrily, said the hand. I am the machine to count numbers of supporters too, in voting to decide something again, and use me to count or tell noses, said the nose. If someone damages one's own interests in a fit, a bad temper cuts off his or her nose, ha 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 ha, said the hand. If someone goes straight forward, they follow his or her nose. He or she has made hard work without rest, keeps his or her nose to the grindstone. He or she is treated haughty when he or she looks me down at somebody. When somebody pays through me, pays an excessive price, enlightened the nose proudly. An intrusion and asking questions without being asked to do so pokes or sticks his or her nose into somebody else's business. And you show disdain if someone turns his or her nose up at, said the hand. Come on. An obvious and easily seen object seen on matter again uses me in form of as plain as the nose on one's face. I also represent many objects of human life like nose bag, nose cone, nose dive, nosegay, nose ring, nose wheel, etc., etc. I am also a noun as well as a verb in human life, his or her language and action, clarified the nose. After a proper pause, the nose said again, My dear ear, you would have confirmed it if you had a noise. I would have felt it if it had the substance of smell on floating ear, but I have not smelt anything yet. Nothing exists for me until and unless I smell it. I smell nothing. Nothing is in my contact yet. Take a rest. We'll all have to perform our duties on this sleeping human body tomorrow, answered the nurse. Well, you always try to broaden the meaning of balance. You perform role of diplomacy because you are situated in the very center of human face. You are fixed like an object under eyes and above the mouth and in between these two ears. Like me, warn you that on many parts of life, a diplomacy does not work at all. Life is in danger, needs to be treated with solid decisions. It is not philosophical, but is a critical time. Maybe the eye has been something terrible, or the eye has seen something terrible. It may probably turn into danger for all of us. We have to work it out together, intervened the hand. You always perform the character of helping hand to the eyes. How always you favor him, said the tongue. Hey, you foolish tongue, why do you feel jealous about all good relationships, replied the eye. I am not jealous. I am realistic. I always speak the truth, answered the tongue. Yes, I know about your truthfulness. Keep your tongue up to the boundary of this zigzagged mouth, replied the hand mockingly. Human beings mostly become involved in hand-to-hand fight. Many people live from hand to mouth nowadays, said the air. I am part of the human arm beyond the wrist. I give the meaning of the nearest approach, reach, or accessibility when something is at hand to someone, like the eye, ear, nose, and mouth live close at hand. In human beings, either he or she does not expect such unkind treatment at somebody's hands. A body or a cough is brought by hand. I brought Charles Dickens' nice characters Pip by my own self. A directly job in human affair is always done from hand to hand. Many times buckets of water were passed from hand to hand to put the fire out. People give or lend me as help. Birds, animals, and human become ready of obeying without question or turn, to be quite tame when someone eats or feeds out his or her hand. I am always given on a bargain. People take me and clasp me to seal the bargain. My positive and creative being, upper or free, give different meanings in human life. I show somebody is well cared for if he or she is in a good condition. He or she wins easily if someone wins me down, said the hand arrogantly. Most of the people become oppressive with a heavy hand too, said the eye. If you observe my qualities, being an object and equipment of touching and feeding life, you will certainly be surprised to see that I am an act as well as fact of touching things, whether they are living or non-living. I always feel and touch on my entire body, particularly on the very surface of my fingers. It is in my experience that even the smallest and the slightest touch of my movement will break a soap bubble. I represent a touchstone defining and producing a test or standard of purity or criterion or stroke made with a brush or pen I hold. I always add finishing touch to art and creative piece of work. The reins of the horse are held, controlled, and directed by me. I hold, deal, move, and touch keys, strings, and musical instruments of workmanship in art and performances. I'm part and machine of painting. A painter cannot perform well without me. My mastery and expert style, I'm part of the experience and practices of great scientists and philosophers. I'm used in driving, painting, and sculpture with a bold touch. I become a part of light touch on a piano and typewriter. I hold the game's equipments to allow great players to win national and international prizes. I'm part of contact. I touch people on the arm and shoulder to draw and attract their attentions. As a greeting, people touch me to their hats. People usually use me to touch the bell to ring it by pressing the button. I always become one of the most important signs of human prayers. I have given names to many objects of human life like handmill, handbook, handbrake, handcart, handcuff, handgun, hand luggage, and hand organ, etc., etc., said the hand conceitedly. Listen, listen, listen. The eye was quite right. Listen, I am listening. A terrible noise, cried the ear. Well, maybe something's happening, but moving around this body, I have got or felt nothing yet. I felt nothing right now. I don't know what's happening around us, cried the hand. Oh, yeah, now I understand it. The eye was right. It is the sound of the lightning. It is far away, but I can listen to it. It is coming nearer, said the air clearly. There seemed as though there was a kind of appreciation and pleasure in the behavior of the ear, who was going to receive the source of information. Information always carries the touch of pleasure. Pleasure has smooth and sound force. Information was valuable to all of them. There is always pleasure in receiving new information. They always valued, they always felt happy of being the instruments of newly born information. Yeah, there is lightning. I can see it, said the eye. Yes, indeed, there is thundering. I can hear it, added the ear. There is raining. I can see it, said the eye. Yep, there is raining. I can hear it, said the ear. Yeah, the smell of the soil dictates. The smell has started traveling on the shoulder of the ear. I can smell it now. It is raining. I can smell it easily, said the nose. But the tongue could not understand what they all meant. Either rain was or not, the tongue had no access to it. It had not tasted anything yet. The tongue was still far away from this piece of apprehension they all had. You are all fools. You are all mad. Someone sees, someone hears, someone smells, someone feels it. But me and the hand have felt nothing yet, cried the tongue. You are a lazy, foolish tongue. You won't ever perceive things and objects until they are poured down in the bag of your open mouth, said the eye. Don't call me a lazy and foolish tongue. Otherwise, said the tongue, but stammered out of powerful emotions. You are not only lazy and foolish, you are dirty too, replied the eye. You, cried the tongue with the pressure of powerful sentiments. In the meantime, the hand cried, Yes, I have felt it. I have felt it. It was the drop of the rain. I think it is raining. It starts raining. Wow, cried the hand, running towards the nose. Hey, you rough and tough, illiterate and cruel hand, be careful, please, said the ear. The hand had moved ahead and entered its finger inside the ear. One of the drops of rain had entered inside the ear. It was not in hand's control. Achakzai, in sleeping position, had felt something in his ear and had moved his hand inside of his own ear. You dirty hand, why do you use your fingers on my sensitive body? Don't touch me, cried the ear. I'm sorry, my dear, I had to do it. We are servants of this human body. We have to obey its orders even in its sleeping hour. Even though we all have our own specific portions of performances, each one of us has his or her own performance and turn of actions. But this human body, by its own order and force, instructed me to dry up one of the drops of the rain that entered inside you. I'm sorry, my dear ear, said the hand apologetically. Don't quarrel. We must stick to one another. It is a time of danger, said the eye. But in the meantime the eye cried again out of fear. Oh, my goodness, look at it. It appeared again. It is terrible. It is horrible. It will kill us, cried the eye frightfully. Come on, be brave. We are all together. Nothing can kill or destroy us. Be confident, you frightened eye, said the tongue. I'm not frightened at all, but I have seen it. You can neither hear, nor see, nor smell, nor can you touch and taste it, because it is a black shadow, explained the eye. Well, keep your tongue to yourself, you tongue. Let's try to understand and feel the situation. Let's try to feel what the eye sees. We should act seriously. Well, you eye, please look at it carefully. Look at it with your knowledge, experience, and studies. Try to understand it. What does or why does it appear terrible to you? Why does it frighten you? You can overcome it. You can overcome if you understand it. Please, take your time. Take it easy, said the nose. The nose was always helpful to the eyes because it always provided a stage of balance and stay for the eye to use eyeglasses. Even here, in this terrible situation, the nose performed being helpful to the eyes. Okay, yeah, I can see it. Let me see it clearly. It is the shadow, a huge shadow. Oh, yeah, I can see it, and I understand it now. There is a big patch of cloud in the sky. Its shadow falls on the earth when lightning starts. Ah, ha, 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 said the eye with a clear-cut laughter. Just imagine, this is called foolish eye. These eyes always fool around the objects. Ha 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 ha! Love the tongue and the nose, hand and the ear also accompany them in their laughter. You mad tongue! You will never ever understand my importance, answered the eye good-humouredly. In the meantime, the dawn broke. The first rays of the sun woke up Achakzai, and these all five senses became part and particles of Achakzai's body, who was called a hard worker human being.